It's Kaveh Solokol from Sky Sports News. One for Gareth. Gareth, Kasper Schmeichel just said that England were a world-class side in 2021. But if you look at the additions since, they're a better side now. Would you agree with that assessment? And if you do, how do you think you've improved?
I think we have to prove that, really. So, obviously, the opponent's not going to sit here and think and say we're a load of idiots and lead into the game that way. So, yeah, we know that we have good players. We know that we can play better than we did the other day. But I thought the players, in what is an incredibly pressurised moment, started the game exceptionally well and defended brilliantly throughout the whole game. And I think they'll be better for that game. I think they'll be better for having a game under their belt. Physically, we'll be better for having a lot of the players having had a game. And emotionally, yeah, there's so much tension. I don't think people can really understand what it is like for young players. So pleased to have got the result from that, and we know we have to be better now against a strong Danish team tomorrow.
Thank you. Up front here.
Hi, Gareth. Good evening. Niv Dovra from Sport 1 Israel. I want to ask you, please, about Jude Bellingham from a manager's perspective, but also from your playing career. Can you recall working with a player that, in such a young age, shows so much maturity in such a...
Looking to be a top player, when you are a top player and you want to keep improving, that's a brilliant sign. Look, I played with Rooney at a very young age as well, and I think sometimes in English football history we underestimate what an unbelievable player he was. If you think back to 2004 Euros, when he arrived on the scene really in a tournament for the first time, incredible player. So, you know, over the years we have had some good players, and we have good players now, and the success of the team will not depend just on Jude. It can't all rest on his shoulders. Everybody has to contribute. Equally, he's got a fabulous mentality for the big occasion, and he produced some incredible moments in the game the other day.
Thank you.
Olof Lund, TV4 Sweden. Kyle, a question for you. You played against Denmark in 2021, and you meet a lot of you challenge a lot of the players in the Premier League. What's the biggest dangers you think meeting Denmark? Is there a risk that you underestimate them?
No, I don't think we underestimate any opponent that we play. I think that you have to give them the level of respect that they deserve. Obviously, they've got a number of players in the Premier League, as you just said. I played a number of years with Chris Eriksen at Tottenham, and he was, in some moments, he can produce magic, you know, on a drop of a hat. So, listen, we go into the game fully focused and wanting the 3 points, as you know we did the other night, and hopefully we can. Probably like the boss just said, just play that a little bit better in the second half, and them nerves have gone a little bit.
Thank you. Questions?
Hi, Gareth. Davide Chinellato with Gazzetta in Italy. You mentioned the importance of playing the first game, having that under your belt. How much do you think the mindset, the mentality aspect is important in the growth of a team that wants to win?
I think it's everything. Yes, you've got to have quality, but in the end, mentality, ability to deliver in the big games, you know, that's what we've been able to do over the last 3 or 4 years in particular. I think we're better for those experiences, but also we've got some players with us who haven't had those experiences, so we're exposing them to that at the same time. But the teams that win things, in the end, the difference really is all about mentality.
Thank you. I had some questions at the back.
Emil from Danish Tipsbladet to Carl. As you mentioned, you played with Eriksen, and we all know what happened last Euros. Can you put some words into his great comeback?
No, it's fantastic. It's a testament to him. Obviously, as both playing in Manchester for the different clubs. We do bump into each other from time to time and, have a catch up. But for what he's done and what he's achieved after, the sad news or the sad incident that happened, it just shows what a character he is and what he possesses, really, yeah.
Thank you. Question up front over here, second row. Thanks.
Hi, Gareth. James Ollie from ESPN. You said the other night that you had a lot of players who didn't have 90 minutes in their legs. So how do you manage their load from here? Does Sunday's team need to play again to build on that, or do you need to freshen it up with the view to hopefully playing another 6 games?
Yeah, they're the decisions we have to make, not just for tomorrow, but whenever we play. What's the right physical level for the group? What's the right decisions for individual players? So without a doubt, players will benefit from having had the game. There's been just about long enough recovery for that to help, and we've got to balance whether to stick with what we did or whether to change and refresh the team. Luke won't be involved tomorrow. No, he's actually on track for where we thought he would be originally. We were hoping a couple of days ago we might accelerate that a little bit, but he needs a bit more volume work. So he didn't train with the rest of the group today because he needs to do. There are days where he needs to do more than the rest of the group, and there are days when he needs to recover when the others are pushing. So he's still in and out with the others, but operating on his own program as well.
Questions? Up front over here and one at the back. Thanks. Thank you.
Hi, Sondre Skansen, NRK in Norway. Just wanted to ask both of you about the pickle juice that has been like a hot topic back home in England. Kyle, do you feel like it's working, and what does it taste like? And Gareth, can you tell us the thinking behind it, and was there any equivalent when you were playing?
Oh, thank you. Well, I think it's been around for quite a while. I think that obviously it's just been highlighted when Trips has had the picture and everything of that. I mean, I don't take it personally. I keep myself well hydrated, like his own boss. And, so I've been very fortunate, not to receive the cramps or anything. But it's part and parcel of football now. Football's developing, and that's something that the sports science have come up with that they feel that can benefit us when it's the late stages of the game.
Thanks.
I can't add much more than that, really.
With one question at the back.
Everybody's always had an opinion about the England team, but now there's more of it than ever, I guess, and certainly more accessible social media as well as traditional media. How do you guys deal with that? Is there a rule on blanking it out, or do you meter it? How do you engage with that?
There's no point having a rule because, young men are going to use social media in a positive way in the main. They're going to search for things. When I was playing, we read newspapers. I don't do it. My world's a happier place if I shut myself off. It's not good from a global perspective because I haven't got a clue what's going on in politics or events elsewhere. But for the next month, that's going to be a better place for me. So that helps me really keep on track. I think some of our players take a similar approach. Others will definitely look at stuff. And of course, it doesn't stop people sending you a message saying, ignore the nonsense or whatever it might be. So you go, oh, okay, right. So, it's kicking off, usual thing. But you know that from the line of questioning anyway, really. So, look, it is what it is. There's more noise around every national team than there ever is a club team. Millions of people in your own country, extensive media coverage, social media. One guy writing a comment on social media gets put in a newspaper. Now that's a story. So it's a different world. And I accept that's how it is. It's not going to affect what I do. My job is to keep the players on track. What are the realities? what are we doing well? What do we need to be better at? Where actually are we? Because you can drift, and you can see them. For a lot of them who haven't been with England, right? Okay, we've won our first game, and this is how it is. Yeah, that's a strange experience for some of the boys that haven't been with us. So it's great that we've got experienced players that have lived through it that can say, no, this is what's important. This is how we stay on track. Our assessment of the game is the most important. We're never slow to pull things up that aren't good enough. So therefore, yeah, that's the most important view, the way that we dissect the game, and of course we have all of the information around what's going on as well.
We need a mic, please.
Sorry, Carl, do you read it or block it out?
No, I answered this earlier. I don't read it at all. I feel that, like the boss just said there, we all can play football, and it's mainly I call it the top 10% that's going to separate you from, being a very, very good player or an average player. And I feel if you have outside noise, whether that be, positively or negatively, people take it in different ways. So I rather not see it and just concentrate on what's in camp, what the gaffer says. Mainly what my mum says. My mum always tells me I have a good game, so I listen to her and then just go from that, really.
Thank you. We have a question over here in front.
Hello, coach. I'm Omar Shraibi from Morocco. As we know, we are fourth or the last World Cup in Qatar. We have a great potential young players like in England. Do you have any advice for our national coach?
You got to the semi-final, didn't you? We didn't, so how can I give advice to your coach?
Thank you. Behind, over here, please, thank you.
Christopher from Danish TV2. A question for you, Southgate. What have you learned about the Danish team after the match against Slovenia, and where can you hurt them?
Well, of course, that depends on whether they stay with what they did, because Kasper's an excellent coach, and he could quite well tweak certain things for each game. That's the way the game is now. So yes, we look at that game, but we look at the previous games as well, and all the permutations that might happen. But of course, we have to try and be as clear as we can with the players. So Denmark have normally been adaptable with him. I like how they play. I think the character of the players. Through the last Euros, I grew more. I've always been an admirer of Danish football, but this group, I have huge admiration for the way they dealt with everything in the last Euros, and the leadership that they showed as a group, the mentality they had as a group, and so with a lot of respect going into tomorrow's game, we know we have to be at our very best to get a win.
Thank you. We'll take 2 more questions from the floor, and if there's some questions remotely, please raise your hand. Thank you. We start from here. First. At the back. Second row. Sorry. Thank you.
Hi, Gareth. Dan Sheldon, The Athletic. At the weekend, Eric Ten Hag said Luke Shaw won't be available until after the group stage. Does that marry with your timeline? And how important is he to unlocking the best out of Phil Foden on the left?
Well, Luke's obviously an outstanding player. That's why we've taken the decision to bring him, although he's not played for so long. And, we're hopeful that can be as soon as possible. I don't want to put a timeline on it right at this moment. But as I said, he's progressing well. And, of course, the balance he gives, the drive he gives, whoever plays with him down that side of the pitch, he gives a different outlet. But at the moment, we don't have him, so we're adapting to that and having to find a different way. And Kieran at the weekend gave, performance that, he's done so many times for us in big matches. And I think if you speak to any winger that plays in front of him, his communication and the way he talks them through the game is an enormous help for players. So, he has different attributes that Luke doesn't.
The last question over there.
Hi,
Thank you.
Just talking earlier about the reaction sort of from outside to the first game. It was only the second time England have obviously won their opening game at Euros. Both of them were under you. Just reading here that England have never won their opening 2 games at European Championships. Do you think we're guilty sometimes of forgetting that history that we've kind of got to overcome as a team?
Look, I've been in this environment for 8 years, so I understand it all. And it doesn't. It used to annoy me. Now I'm ambivalent to it. So winning matches in tournaments is incredibly hard. And this tournament, you've now got the extra dimension of incredible support for all the teams in the stadiums as well. So that's a little bit different to the last 2 tournaments we've been in. Look, we've had some good results over the years, so maybe even we sort of take wins for granted, which we shouldn't. I should definitely let the boys enjoy their wins more than I do. I get about 45 seconds of enjoyment. The whistle blows. I cuddle everybody. I walk off the pitch, and then that's it. I hope they have a little bit longer than that. There should be more joy in it, but that's not my reality, if I'm frank. So my focus is get qualified from the group, which we've got 2 tough opponents, but 2 games to achieve that. I'm not looking beyond tomorrow night's game at this moment in time.
Thank you. We'll take the very last question over here. Thanks.
Eric Peters with Germany. Question for Gareth. There are discussions that England played too defensively after the goal against Serbia. In Germany, we have a phrase, a good horse only jumps as high as it has to. So is it your approach too, or do you want more spectacle?
No, we want to play how we did in the first half an hour of the game. There are moments where you have to defend well as a team, and when you don't have control of the game, you have to show that other side. But without a doubt, we want to play with the ball as we did in the first 30 minutes. I think there are several reasons for why we didn't, and they're the things we have to unpick and improve. But we didn't set out to sit back. Serbia also came at us. They're a goal behind. They have to take a different approach. They're also not an easy team to press. Teams that play with a back 3 drop midfield players into that back line, but then can play over your pressure because they've got target men as well and players that get between the lines. That they get 5 players high. They're a complicated team to prepare to play against. So to give us few opportunities as we did, we were really pleased with that aspect of our game. We have to be better in the other aspect, and that's the bit that you have to get both things right.
Thank you. Thank you for attendance for this press conference, and the volunteers, Coach Gareth Southgate and the player Kyle Walker. Good evening.
Thank you.
Cheers, thank you.